So Pavel, what could the IBE do that would make this easier for you or other people with epilepsy to feel safe and have the support they need? Do you have ideas of things that you say, why aren't people doing that?
Yeah, that's it. That's the problem. It's a long, hard road, because we know we can do so much, but we have to have everybody on board to do it. And that, as a group, we do this, and clearly everybody's listening to us has the same view, wants to know, wants to learn, wants to help. But on the ground, it's not as easy. And I don't know why epilepsy is just so difficult, but it is. Sally?
Yeah, it's really interesting just listening to what Mary was saying about sort of stigma and whether or not it's actually safe to say I have epilepsy, because in large parts of the world it is not safe. But we've got this awful catch-22, because from a psychology model, we know that the way that you break down stigma is to meet somebody who has that stigmatizing condition, no matter what it is. If you meet someone and you have a relationship with them and you get to know them, the stigma reduces right down, because they're not this unknown person, it's Mary down the road, or, and so that's how you reduce it. But to meet these people if they're always hiding. So you're in this awful catch-22. And I think that's why we've got stuck, because people won't say I've got epilepsy because it's dangerous. And unless they say that, then the people around them don't know, well, actually, it's not that scary and it's not that bad. And it's, it's just the person down the road. So it's a really difficult position. And until one of those things gives, I think just from a psychology model of how you break down stigma, we're stuck. We've certainly found that with our sort of outreach work with in our charity, the Epilepsy Society. We have approached famous people that we know have a link to epilepsy, and said, will you support us? And they won't, because they don't want to be associated with it. That's in the UK, where we've got the legal protections and all of that. So in other parts of the world where, you really will be ostracized if you start to say, I've got epilepsy, it's really difficult.
But it's as a medical doctor, I'm now in a different place, and I don't think the medical doctors can solve this. I think IBE can solve this. I think it's not a medical issue, and the medical part of it drives the discussion, the agenda in the wrong direction. I think that you have to keep away from the doctor side of things. It's not an illness. It's something that you need to have an attitude towards solving. And it's interesting for me, coming from where I have come from, to be in that situation.
I just want to add to that. When Cassidy Megan started Purple Day, so Cassidy Megan's the little Canadian. She was 9 when she started it, and I think she's 21 now. When she started it, we used it solely as a day of disclosure. We said to people, all you do today is to tell 3 people that you have epilepsy. That's it. And so it wasn't a big parade. It wasn't wear something purple and say to 3 people, I have epilepsy. And I can tell you at that stage, we were going into schools for, one child. If we walk into a school now and we say, we're here to do the epilepsy presentation, the principal of the school will say to us, oh, we've got 7 kids. You got 1 in grade 7, you got 2 in grade 5. Like, the disclosure now is so huge. So this gives me great hope. It started with 3 people. Now it's fundraisers, parties, proclamations in Parliament. So never underestimate what we can do by just saying to somebody, epilepsy affects me and my family. It's so simple. So exactly what Sally said, it just putting a face of somebody who goes, affects Mary's family. I didn't know that. And it makes it, normalizes it. And this is what this 9-year-old did. She just said, I want everybody to know that there's a condition called epilepsy. And that's why when we go into schools, we always talk about asthma. We compare it to another childhood condition and say, you know, the kid with the puffer has a chronic condition. They may or may not have a bad look like it, but someday if they lose their breathing, you'll know. The child with epilepsy may or may not have a bad day, but if they have a seizure, you'll know. So we prepare for both. And it's again, I say this within the lens of a safe country to do it, but there's such power, and we're seeing it. And I think Palmieri can talk about it. We're seeing it in Africa in a huge way. Our African chapters are doing amazing work, and they're all people with epilepsy, and they're coming out and saying, this matters to me. I live with epilepsy and my family needs better help. So I think there's hope. I really do. I think things are changing, and IBE can be a leader in kind of getting that change out as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? The people in the black who haven't shown themselves, any comments from you? Yes, please.
Well, hello everybody. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I just wanna, well, I'm a caregiver. I have a nephew who has epilepsy, and like 2 years ago, we faced a very serious situation when we were denied by the school principal to actually get into the school because he has an epilepsy. So there is a huge stigmatization in Bosnia and Herzegovina against the children who has epilepsy. So they looked at him and they say, look, he looks normal. Why he can just get and do all the things normally like any other child? And I just had the trouble explaining that while he does look normal, he still has epilepsy. So he really faced a huge stigmatization among the teachers and the other kids. And he even at some point refused by himself to go to the school because he feels so left out. So generally, there are a huge misunderstanding of the people, and especially children who are suffering from epilepsy, and just it's very hard to live in a society like this one. So I just founded the Center Against Epilepsy and trying to sort of work on the awareness campaign and trying to help society and school principals, teachers understand about what is epilepsy at first, and how can they face by themselves, how they know how to help kids to actually go and study. So he's still having still has problems. They still denied him the right to go to school, to go to the classes according to his specific needs. So we are still in a very bad situation, let's say. So it's very beneficial for me to hear from you, from your experience and everything that and hear from you what should I do, what the steps I could take. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you for telling us about this. This is what it's all about, and you know, it breaks your heart. I mean, it's not necessary, and yet it happens all the time. This kid's got a life,